90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College. Welcome to another edition of From the Press Box. My name is Rob Leonard. Joining me, of course, is award-winning sports writer, and yes, my brother, Tim Leonard, as we are part of the Sports Talk family. Sports Talk every Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., with an additional edition of Sports Talk every Tuesday, 10 p.m. to midnight. We, of course, are 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Mondays. Brother, welcome to another edition. How are you, my brother?
I'm outstanding, brother. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Interesting weekend, it's a very...
two more losses, brother.
Well, it's not just that. It's the way they happen, man. It really... the Jets were actually up 10-0 at one point.
That is correct, brother.
Their biggest lead of the season.
Also correct.
Such a bad year so far. But then they lose 18-10. So they get their 10 points, then they give up 18 points without doing anything. And Sam Darnold actually played good during those 10 points. And then after that, he really fell in a hole.
It was the offense, the entire offense that quote, fell into a hole, whatever that means. But
they fell into a hole. What does it mean? You ever fall in a hole, brother?
It's a ridiculous phrase, brother.
No, it's not.
Find something better.
You're walking along and all of a sudden you fall in a hole.
Because that happens all the time.
You remember when we were kids? It happened to someone we know. You remember that?
Yes, I remember, brother.
Yeah, we won't mention names, okay?
Good.
But it did happen.
So it's happened once in our lifetime.
Well, I'm sure this is the second time. Don't dismiss my phrasing.
Oh my God!
When writers like myself come up with new phrases, you should be happy as a writer yourself.
No, really.
Yes.
Anyway, bro, let's get back on topic. How about that?
Why? Anyway, the Jets just. The Jets have a lucky year in the sense this has been a lucky year so far for the Jets because there have been no fans at MetLife Stadium to boo the living hell out of the Jets.
Yeah, in that way, yes, they are lucky.
And
that's the only way they're lucky.
Also, the season ticket holders are lucky too because they don't have to. Well, they got some sort of credit, I guess, for next year. They paid for their tickets, but they didn't get to use them, so they get a refund somewhere down the road, or maybe next year they keep their.
Is it a refund? I don't know. I don't know what the thing is. If the team just gave them a credit on future purchases and they can't get that money actually back,
well, at least
not really a refund.
No, but at least it's not paying for this season.
Well, that's true.
So that way, in this way, the Jet fan. Is actually making out because this horrible season connected to COVID-19. And, imagine, Timmy, there was no COVID-19. And there'd be like 5,000 people or 10,000 people. That's what 25% would be anyway, if you're going to go by that, or 15% or whatever it is. You'd literally have no one there, or you'd be going on like StubHub, and you'd be like buying tickets for $7.
They're not even that much. More like $3 or $5. But let's put it this way: if all of a sudden, if all of a sudden we actually did turn the corner on COVID, as our lying 2 weeks left and his administration president says, then think about if the Jets all of a sudden said, or MetLife Stadium all of a sudden said, all right, we're going to allow, let's throw it out there, 50% capacity. All right. Do you think the Jets would get 50%?
No, not even close.
I don't think they would be able to get 50% at this point into the stadium. I really don't. And how much of an indictment is that in terms of how just awful the Jets have been this season? And the fact that we're talking about an 8-point loss to the Buffalo Bills being the high point of their season, if for no other reason than early in the game they held a 10-point lead, and because the defense didn't allow a touchdown. This is when a team is this bad, you really have to to stretch, to find positives, and to find something good to talk about, because they're awful. They just are absolutely awful, and they're poorly coached. Adam Gase yesterday gave up play calling duties for the first time ever as a head coach in his 5 years. Offensive coordinator Dowell Logains was calling the plays, and it actually looked like it worked for a little while early in the game in the first quarter or so, or even into the second quarter. The Jets offense was moving the ball, and Sam Darnold was at one point he was like 10 for 11 or 10 for 12, but he finished, I think it was 12 for 23. Which just shows you how incredibly incompetent they were in the second half. The Jets had 4 total yards in the second half. That's 2 quarters of football, 4 yards.
Right, you can't have that.
That's abominable. So you're not going to win a game if you can't even get a single first down in a half. So that's the Jets. The Bills made adjustments. The Jets made none. Sam Darnold was sacked 6 times. The Bills started blitzing him. They started coming after him, and they have the kind of defense that can do that. And the Jets had nothing in response. So that it's all a major problem.
Yes, it is.
And this is just something that Jet fans either you suck it up or you ignore it. But it's not going to change anytime soon. This is the Jet fan season. And whether it turns out to be 0-16 or by some miracle 1-15, they are still, in my estimation, by far the worst team in the league. It's not even close. At least the Giants are competitive. The Jets have not been competitive. And I'll tell you who's in the running for worst team in football right now is the Dallas Cowboys. Because with Dak Prescott out for the season, oh my God, they're disgusting. Their defense is one of the worst defenses ever assembled. That's how bad they are. So there's a lot of bad teams in the NFL, or I'll say a handful of bad, really bad teams. But
that's a good point, Tim. I mean, really bad teams. Normally you don't see. Usually you see a little more balance in the NFL. That's what they strive for. But
right.
These are really bad teams. Embarrassing to watch if you're a fan. And they're going to get a little bit worse because the Jets and the Giants both in the next week before the trading deadline happens in the NFL, they're going to unload some veteran players and get a couple of 6th round draft picks or whatever. I mean, it's just a matter of getting a couple of late round picks for some of your veterans, taking some money off the salary cap. Because why pay these guys if you're just going to lose games anyway? So be on the lookout for some veteran players being unloaded if unless they're seen as part of the solution, like Jabril Peppers for the Giants. I don't expect to see him traded because he's a good young player, and he's a guy who the Giants should be building around as opposed to getting rid of for whatever draft capital they could get, which would be undervalued in terms of what he brings to a team. But for just regular cookie cutter kind of guys, if you can get a 6th or a 7th, or if you're lucky, a 5th for somebody, chances are that deal is going to be made in the next week. And that's all it does is weaken a team. Because what do you have to replace those guys except somebody off the practice squad? So that makes your team a little bit worse. The Jets when they waived Le'Veon Bell, I understood the reasons for it was because they didn't want to have to deal with Bell becoming a negative influence on the team. But if your team is 0-7, how much more negative can things get? But they wanted to unload him, and like I said, the salary cap hit is kind of ridiculous. But they wanted to move on, and they wanted to make that move. But it certainly makes the team worse. So there's trade-offs and everything. But the Jets. The only good. I'll tell you what. One thing that aggravated me this week. Ryan Field on Eyewitness News. Right. He does these like occasional questions of the day, and this one was so stupid because usually they're so Homer based. It's like, well, do you think the Yankees are going to win the American League Division Series? Well, yeah, you're in New York, of course it's going to be like 80% yes. Yeah.
So the question this week, I think it was maybe on Wednesday, should the Jets tank to make sure they get Trevor Lawrence? Are the Jets trying?
No.
Should the Jets tank? That means they have to play worse than they already are.
Right.
And we have to assume that they're trying. But, I mean, what's the difference between tanking and what the Jets are doing? There isn't a difference. They can't play much worse.
Well, the tanking part is that technically you get worse players if you trade off some players, some vets, and then you say, okay, we're going to, bring the taxi squad out, as you said, and that, but that has to come from management. It can't come from the players,
Well, but I mean, if that's the case, if that's what you're going to do, send your players out to a bar. Have a dozen of them get COVID. I mean, I don't even know what else to say. It was such a dumb question. Should the 0-7 team tank? Or at that point, they were 0-6.
Right.
They're already tanking. Like I said, you can't play any worse than the Jets are playing. And the fact that we're celebrating that they were ahead 10-0 and didn't allow a touchdown. We're celebrating these things. They still lost by 8 points.
Well, we were watching the game yesterday, and I said 10-0. Wow, I felt happy. There hasn't been much of a time to be happy as a Jet fan this year. I was like, oh right, maybe they finally figure out what to do, and then no, I realized it didn't. So it was sad, really sad. I mean, let's face it. How many Jets games have we watched this season where the Jets were done in the first half? The game was over. They were down 20 some points. Right. I mean, the fact they were up 10-0 in the second quarter, it was encouraging because you saw the Bills and the Bills were making mistakes and not able to move the ball, and the Jets were for a brief time were competent on both sides of the ball. It's something that hasn't happened this season. So the fact that it happened in Game 7, do you like to see it? Yeah, you do, because I'm not a sadist. I don't want the Jets to be miserable and just be crap every week, but it doesn't last. It's not going. This is an 0-16 team. This is what we're watching, and you can paint it any way you want, but this is what it is, and the Jets aren't going anywhere. And I've said it before. The person I feel the worst for is Sam Darnold. He's got nothing around him. He finally got the Jets finally got Denzel Mims, the second round pick. He finally played his first game of the season after having 2 hamstring injuries, and he looked good with Darnold. Darnold, he had four catches for 42 yards. They looked like they had a little bit of chemistry. But Mims was the only receiver yesterday. Right. So I don't know. I really don't want to spend a lot of time on the Jets because it frustrates me with how bad they are, and it's not getting better. Well, next week they play the Chiefs, one of the best teams in the league. And what's the point spread, brother, in Vegas right now?
Right now, bro. This likely will be the biggest point spread in NFL history. All right, we're talking NFL history. Right now, the early line is 22 points. And yes, brother, the Chiefs are the favorites. I just want to make sure that everybody knows. Chiefs by 22. I expect that to go up. All right. I don't. Yeah. I mean, this game is going to be. I'll give an early score right now. Probably 45-6. I don't expect the Jets to get a touchdown.
Well, my question for you would be: do you rest your team if you're the Chiefs and knowing you're playing the Jets and knowing you're most likely to win? No, because you know what? Here's what's going to happen. You don't want someone getting hurt.
Patrick Mahomes will play at most 3 quarters. He'll put up his numbers. Everybody will put up. I'll tell you who's going to play the whole game next week. More than likely is Le'Veon Bell, because he's with Chiefs now. He's going to want to get 100. Once he gets 100, he'll say, yeah, "Coach, I'm good." But he's going to want to get the 100.
Yeah, he's ready for this game.
But it's going to be a disaster. It really is. I don't look forward to watching that game because it's going to be that one-sided.
Yeah, well, you're right. Let's quickly talk about the Giants because they played on Thursday, actually. I'm calling him Dan Jones, by the way, from now on, not Daniel Jones.
Nationally televised dreck, brother.
Oh my God! It's this is why Thursday night games sometimes don't hold up, and even Monday night games. Sunday night games are always made sure that they're the best, but Monday night and Thursday night too. And this, I don't know, man. It could have been, the falling down of Daniel Jones or Dan Jones, as I'm now calling him, as he's running for open field touchdown. I mean, it was smart that he did the play he did.
It was a good play.
It was a great play. It was a very smart play.
And it should have been, a 50 or 60-yard touchdown.
Yep.
And then somehow Daniel Jones just forgot how to run. Or his hamstring said, enough. I don't want to do this anymore.
Well, he didn't say anything about his. He didn't say anything about his hamstring, or if I'm not mistaken. So
no, he didn't get hurt. I'm not saying he got hurt, but his some part of his leg just said, you know what, I'd rather walk.
Yeah, well,
I don't know what happened or how it happened, but Daniel Jones just decided. Daniel Jones go boom, as you say to a baby. He go boom.
Yeah, and one thing that did happen to take away some of the embarrassment, they did get a touchdown out of it.
Right.
So
that was positive.
So that in that series of plays. So that's an important thing, because how you remember these type of things years later is the story you tell or talk about in different places. It's like the Sanchez butt play.
I was just about to say that, brother. Good call. Very good call.
Go ahead. That's going to follow Sanchez the rest of his life.
Of course, and this play was Daniel Jones's butt fumble, because and the reason being, and again, like you said, the positive of this is that the Giants did finish the drive and got the touchdown. So that play didn't cost them, because it was just a ridiculous play. You're running an open field. There's nobody near you, and all of a sudden you just fall for whatever reason. Nobody knows. The common terminology is turf monster, the turf monster guy. But the Giants finished the drive. They scored the touchdown, so it doesn't hurt them. Teammates can make fun of Daniel Jones, have some, give him a little bit of ribbing and have a good time with it. But because it didn't cost them. But that was what I was thinking was that this is Daniel Jones's butt fumble, because it's so improbable and inexplicable. You're just looking for any kind of reason as to, like, how did this happen? Why did this happen? And there's no answer.
Well, the only thing I can think of, brother, and just from watching it, he doesn't get these 80-yard runs very often. And
no Giant gets them.
Oh, I know, but do you think that he's not used to doing this, and he forgot how to run?
No, I mean,
or the turf. Well, the turf just acted up on him.
I don't know. I mean, I know that. I mean, let's put it this way: Jones has had a couple of long runs this season. He actually leads the Giants in rushing, which tells you how bad the Giants' rushing game is without Saquon Barkley. But he's had, he's gone on 20, 30-yard runs. He's had a couple of those. Okay. So, I mean, and that's part of his game. That they want him to be able to use his legs. And we all know that Eli Manning wasn't able to do that sort of thing. So Jones does have that, in his locker, as they say. But it didn't make any sense. And he kind of joked about it after the game. And he did point out that, hey, we did score on the drive. And, he wanted to make sure that everybody, remembered that it didn't hurt the team. But again, it was a strange play. And that is, that's the thing that this game will be remembered for. But I think the other thing that really the game should be remembered for is the Giants having a 21-10 lead with about 6 minutes left in the game and still managing to lose.
4:50, actually.
All right, 4:50. It's even worse. You have a 21-10 lead that late in the game, and you still manage to lose. That's even more improbable than Daniel Jones falling down on what should have been a touchdown run.
No, I agree. Actually,
this game should have been over.
When it hit 21-10, I'm like, oh, okay, time to watch the debate. And then I come back later and it's over. It's 22-21. I'm like, how the hell did that happen?
And they're interviewing Carson Wentz on the sideline. It's like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah. So I mean, great for the Eagles that they came back. I mean, they made it look easy.
It was just ridiculous. You have a 21-10 lead. That your defense should be able to put that game away. And I didn't see anything that the Giants did differently, but Carson Wentz is I mean, let's face it, Carson Wentz in the last couple of years hasn't been the guy that the Eagles drafted. And he hasn't been necessarily an elite quarterback, but he was an elite quarterback against a not so good team on Thursday night late in the game. He led them on 2 drives. He had that one long pass on the first touchdown that it set up a 3-yard touchdown to Greg Ward, but the Giants gave up like a 40-yard pass before that, and that put the Eagles deep into Giants territory. And then the next series for the Giants, Evan Ingram dropped what looked like a perfect pass from Daniel Jones, and that gave the Eagles the ball back. So the Giants hurt themselves massively late in this game by not making plays, and it wound up being Wentz just dropped a really nice pass into Boston Scott. What a name! But that went over Jabril Peppers, who's one of the Giants' best secondary guys. But the pass was perfect. It was right at the right pylon. Scott catches it, touchdown, and that's it. And then the Eagles again went for 2 and failed that, but that's why it was a 1-point game. But then what happens again to the Giants is Jones is back. He's trying to lead a drive and get a 2-minute drive going quick, and he gets hit and he fumbles again. So the second week in a row that the Giants' last gasp effort ends with a Daniel Jones losing a fumble. He's got to learn how to hang on to the ball, and I don't know. I don't know if he's got tiny hands or whatever, but this kid fumbles far too much. And it was a big issue last year, and it's becoming a bigger issue this year. Because if he can't hang on to the ball, then, if he can't hang on to the ball, he doesn't have a place in the NFL as a starting quarterback. You can't have a quarterback that keeps turning the ball over. I mean, interceptions are part of the game as a quarterback. But if he's going to lose, who knows, 10 fumbles a year, that's unforgivable. You can't have it. So he's got to figure out a way to be able to hang on to the ball.
You hope so.
He's got to be more aware of the pressure around him and get rid of it, or he's got to put a second hand on the ball. I don't know what the answer is. It's probably a combination of all of them, but he's got to hang on to the ball.
No, I agree. He's just yeah. We might have 2 new quarterbacks in New York next year.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, let's face it. The Jets, and this is something we've talked about. The Jets right now obviously are the favorites for Trevor Lawrence, the Clemson quarterback, who they're talking about as a generational kind of talent. Like he's John Elway, he's Andrew Luck, he's like a guy who will be a franchise cornerstone and who is a potential Hall of Fame caliber talent.
Right.
But and I could see them making that pick and saying, all right, we're going to go with this guy. We're going to reset our window, because everybody in the NFL these days, or I don't want to say everybody, it's a little too broad, but most of the teams in the NFL that are having success have an inexpensive quarterback. Once you sign your quarterback to one of those $30 or $40 million a year deals, it impacts the rest of your team, because there's not nearly as much money to acquire talent.
Right.
That you need on both sides of the ball to be a winning team and to be a Super Bowl caliber team. Look at last year. The Chiefs won. How much were they paying Patrick Mahomes last year? It wasn't the $500 million extension that he signed a couple of months ago. So that's going to impact them in the future. But in terms of NFL and recent history in the last decade or so, the majority of teams who have won have been teams with a relatively inexpensive quarterback.
Right. Well, no, Timmy, what I'm trying to do is move your head a little bit. I think you're speaking off the mic a little bit.
All right.
your head's sort of tilted away, and so that's why I was. For those who don't know, we're on Zoom, and this goes to the station. I'm just trying because it sounds like you're falling out a little bit on the mic.
I'll pull the computer closer to me, brother.
Yeah, that's good.
Is that a little better?
Right. A little better, brother. Thank you.
All right, good.
So anyway, Jets and Giants. It's always fun to watch them destroy each other, not each other, but themselves. As the season goes on, Timmy, you're a sports writer. You worked with sports editors. When do the Rich Kotite articles start coming? The comparisons.
I mean, I don't know. At some point, maybe when they get to 0-9, 0-10, and then you start looking at the Jets' schedule, and I don't even know if it'll be Rich Kotite, because I don't know that anybody really has any desire to relive those days. I mean, you can write about them, sure, but. I mean, if I was Rich Kotite, I don't even know if I would make myself available for those interviews.
Well, there are other players. There are other players, obviously, play.
Yeah, you can get players and stuff, sure, but in terms of if I'm Rich Kotite, I don't even return those phone calls.
I agree with you.
Unless Rich Kotite wants a little bit of glory. I don't know what he's doing these days. I don't know where he is. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't even know if he's still alive. But if Rich Kotite wants a little bit of spotlight, I don't know if I would want spotlight for my failures, but if he just wants to maybe talk to some writers, if it's been a decade or so since he talked to some writers and had some of that in his life, then maybe he wants to, but not me. If it was me, I would just sorry guys, I got nothing to say.
Yeah, well, maybe they don't talk to him; they talk to the players.
Players will talk about it.
Find.
Yeah. Hell, Keyshawn will talk about it. Keyshawn does talk about it.
Yeah, well, he's got his own radio TV show, brother. So
right.
Just give me the damn ball.
That's why I heard him talking.
Just give me the damn ball, Anyway, World Series is going on, brother. Literally.
Oh, what a crazy series.
Well, it's back to back games, so there's no day off really. I mean, there's just. It just keeps moving. I mean, it's interesting that this is the first time that Major League Baseball's had, at least I think so, a non-home type of series where it's
this is the first time it's on neutral ground. But there are days off, bro. Tonight is a day off.
Oh, it is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought.
They did throw a couple of days off in there. I'm not even sure why, but. I mean, it's not like they have to travel.
Well, you know what? Give them a day off and then let them, watch TV or something. Or
that's all they're going to be doing. They're going to be in their hotels because the MLB set up, a bubble for this. This was the whole point of this, was to set up the bubble. But they have tonight off. In fact, I think they had a day off after Game 2 also. Yeah, it was Tuesday, Wednesday, then they were off Thursday, and then it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then they're off Monday. So,
Saturday's game,
Tuesday and Wednesday if necessary.
Saturday's game is going down as one of the strangest endings.
That was
ever.
Craziness.
Craziness. We talk about Game 6, Red Sox Mets in '86. This won't be as intense because of what Mookie was going up against. But
Mookie Wilson, brother. There is another Mookie in baseball, so we can't.
In New York, there's only one Mookie, brother.
Wow, so Mookie Betts has 400 million reasons to disagree with you, but
Yeah, well, Mookie Wilson is Mookie Wilson.
Yes, that's why I said Mookie Wilson.
Yeah. So anyway, it was. I mean, I just, you look at it, it's hard to believe it actually happened the way it happened. It gets thrown to the catcher. The catcher spins around, not realizing the guy had stopped. Then the ball goes out of his hand as he spins.
Well, he didn't stop.
Around.
He fell down.
Well, fell down, stopped, the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
Well, it is. He stopped.
Stopping is a choice.
Yeah, well,
falling down and tumbling over like Daniel Jones taught Randy Arozarena how to run. That's what it looked like to me. That's the first thing I saw when I saw Arozarena go around third and fall on his face. It's like Daniel Jones taught him how to run.
He will say that he stopped.
No, he won't.
I'm laughing. Be smiling, brother. It's a joke. Come on, let me see you smile, brother. Smile. Come on, laugh. Giggle. I guess I get all the laughs being your older brother.
Whatever you said, brother.
So anyway, but that spin around, it probably would have been out. It would have been like one of the great endings of the game. Well, actually, it would have been the ending. It would have been a very close play. I think he would have been out, but that's why he was going back to third, because he thought he was going to be out too. Here, let me just take this through, brother. All right, let me go from the start here. All right, Brett Phillips. All right, he's the batter. He sends a flare to center field. All right, Chris Taylor is a center fielder. He's not really a center fielder. He's a utility guy, but he charges the ball in center field. He's looking to be Bernie Williams, brother. All right, he's looking to come up, charge the ball, come up throwing. He wants to get the guy at the plate. Instead, unlike Bernie Williams, the ball clangs off his glove, bounces away. Taylor, being a conscientious ball player, hurries up. He retrieves the ball, fires to the cutoff man. All right. Meanwhile, here comes your boy Randy Arozarena, who's been the postseason star for the Tampa Bay Rays. He's chugging around second. He's coming to third. And all that's on his mind, brother, is I'm going to score that winning run. Get me to the plate. So he's busting it. He hits third base. He's going so fast. His helmet comes off his head. He's moving. And then he turns into Daniel Jones. And don't know how he fell down, but he fell down. He does like a half a somersault, a side roll, whatever you want to call it. But he's on the ground. He gets to his feet pretty quickly. Right. And, he's, his tumbling skills, his dismount was good. But his first step after he got up was, I'm going back to third base. So he pivots. He takes a step back towards third, but then he sees that Dodgers catcher Will Smith, the ball has bounced off his glove because the ball was behind him. It was towards the first base side. Right.
So he was going to grab it and spin because he knew that Arozarena was coming. So it was like a blind play. He doesn't know where Arozarena is, but he wants to get the glove down as quickly as possible because he knows Arozarena is coming. But instead, the ball goes behind the plate. So Arozarena pivots again. I'm surprised he didn't pull a hamstring with all his pivoting, and basically just lunges for the plate and dives and then just starts smacking the plate because, hey, here's the winning run. Tampa Bay wins. Tampa Bay wins.
It was a great ending. You couldn't have planned it, even if you wanted to.
No,
it was a nice ending. I know some people and I hate quoting people on the internet, but Twitter, same thing. Well, it's all the same. They call this a double Buckner. No. You
can quote them, brother. Most of the people who were saying that were sports writers, so they're
they
not morons.
Well, sometimes they are. You know that you worked with some of them, but don't call it a double Buckner. That's not fair to Bill Buckner. Bill Buckner should have been out there.
It was some shoddy glove work.
Yes, it was. I agree with that.
Let's face it. The center fielder muffed it. The catcher muffed it. Arozarena did pretty much everything he could to get thrown out, and still managed to score the winning run. But no. How can you script anything like that? It wouldn't be believable.
No, I know. That's why. If you did this in like a movie about baseball and it's maybe you change it to Game 7, let's say, instead of Game 4, you would never do it. No one would believe it. It's so
exactly.
But it's don't call it a double Buckner. I mean, Buckner never should have been in there. He couldn't bend down. I know why he was out there. We know the whole story, but
yes,
don't call it a double. Call it something else. I mean. But not a double Buckner. Yeah, it's an easy one, but
call it a double Rob Leonard.
No, I would have made that play like that. I would have thrown it right to the catcher. Would have been.
You would have come up throwing. You would have charged that ball, come up throwing, brother.
I would have come up throwing and
fired a seed to the catcher. And forget the cutoff man, seed to the plate.
And it would be more towards the third base line instead of the first base line.
Exactly.
You got to
account for a little bit of tail on the throw. That's why.
That's the big difference. If it was thrown, 4 feet over, he wouldn't have had to make the spin, and then most likely.
And I tell you what, it's a bad play by the cutoff man, because the center fielder, even though he botched the play to begin with, he got the ball to the cutoff man, perfect position, and the cutoff man to throw was a bad throw. Just not good. Up the first base line, and he put the catcher in a bad situation. And I can't completely blame Will Smith for this, because it wasn't an easy play for him. And he's a young catcher, and I know people are going to say, "Oh, well, a young guy, and why you put him in that position?" He's a good catcher. He's a good player, and he's a guy that's going to be the Dodgers catcher probably for the next decade. But in that situation, that throw was terrible.
And now the Dodgers are up 3-2 in this World Series, and Game 6 is tomorrow. And the Dodgers could win, brother. First time in a long time.
I'm not looking forward to that, but
I'm not either. But
prediction, I know my prediction won't be coming true, because I said Tampa Bay in 6, so obviously that's not happening.
No,
Clayton Kershaw made sure of that last night. Yeah, who would have thought? Clayton Kershaw. I'll tell you what, this guy is having himself a postseason, and we've never been able to say that in his career. But Kershaw last night, Kershaw got the win. The Dodgers won 4-2, and Clayton Kershaw. This is the first postseason series in his career where he has had 2 wins in the series, which is remarkable, because this guy has pitched a lot of postseason games, and obviously he's been the Dodgers ace for a lot of years, even though I'm not sure he still is. I think a lot of people think Walker Buehler is the team's ace now, but 2 wins in a World Series. That's that gets you in the conversation for MVP.
Yep.
So Clayton Kershaw pitched very well last night. Limited the Rays. I was a little bit surprised when they took him out. 85 pitches. I know Dodger fans were pretty surprised. I think the only reason I can think of why they took him out when they did, why Dave Roberts made them. Well, first of all, Dave Roberts has been getting roasted for a lot of the moves that he's made in this World Series. But I think that Dave Roberts was saying to himself, if I need him for Game 7, I can't have him going 110 or 115. Let me take him out now while he's got 85 and hasn't really taxed his arm with those extra 30 pitches. And if I need him in Game 7, I'm not going to potentially jeopardize the 2021 season, because if he does something and he needs surgery because I've overused him, then let me do it now.
Well,
and the Dodgers have a good enough bullpen where he can do that.
Yeah, I think you save him for Game 7. If you need to go to the bullpen 100 times, and it's Game 7, so you
Yeah, if you need Kershaw for an inning in Game 7, then after 85 pitches, that's not a big ask. After 115 pitches, it becomes a bigger ask. So I know you don't like pitch counts, brother, but that's reality.
No, but in the playoffs and World Series, I understand the thinking. Because you only have a limited amount of games to win the whole thing. So
exactly.
So I do understand that, brother. It's not like I'm blinded to pitch counts or why they exist. I just don't think it helps in the long run. But
I disagree. But we'll save that conversation for another day, bro. Because we've had it already.
Let's have it now.
No, we've already had it plenty of times.
Okay. Anyway, you listen.
Go ahead.
You're listening to 90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College. The show you're listening to is From the Press Box. Here every take 2. Here every Monday morning, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And then later on, it becomes a podcast on Spreaker and on the iHeart app and
iHeart Radio app, brother.
iHeart Radio app. Everyone knows what it is. Anyway, so we're here and we're talking sports. My name is Rob Leonard. Joining me, of course, is my brother and award-winning sports writer, Tim Leonard. How are we doing today, brother? It's good day for sports. Good day for sports this weekend.
Sports. A little rainy outside, but
but that's fine.
Good day to talk sports.
That's true. So, anyway, brother, what's going on with Arizona and the NCAA? I mean,
this story has been going on for a while, because I'm sure you remember, brother. We talked about this a couple of years ago.
I remember, yes.
And Arizona, this is all breaking in the last couple of days, or some of it yesterday. and some of it the day before, because the Athletic reported that the number of allegations that Arizona has been charged with include lack of institutional control and failure to monitor, and that Arizona head coach Sean Miller has been charged with lack of head coach control. Now, you might remember.
What's that mean?
Well, it means, and I'm going to use your boy Rick Pitino as an example.
Yeah, I was going to think of Rick, my buddy Rick.
Because that's what he was charged with at Louisville, which basically means that a lot of bad stuff is happening in your program, but the coach claims to know nothing about it because, it's my assistant coaches who are doing that, or this was happening and I wasn't aware. Well, you know what? You're the head coach. You're supposed to know everything that's going on.
Right.
And nothing in a program is supposed to happen without you knowing something about it. And if something is happening and you claim not to know anything about it, that's when you get charged with lack of head coach control, because you can't just play ignorant and throw your assistants under the bus so that you can keep your job.
Well, people do it.
But that's what this is for. You know, Pitino, when all that stuff was happening in Louisville, and they were, bringing in strippers and getting prostitutes to help recruit players, and all of this stuff was going on. And Pitino said, I didn't know anything about it. Well, you know what, Rick? It's happening under your program. And if your assistant coaches are that stupid that they're doing illegal activities to get players into your program, never mind whatever money might be changing hands. But if your assistant coaches are that stupid, then you're on the hook too, because you were the idiot that hired these guys.
Right.
So that's what this is about. And it's not just Arizona right now, but Arizona has been they've been according to, this is a story from ESPN, has been served with 9 allegations of misconduct, including 5 level 1 allegations, the most serious under NCAA rules. And that's following a multi-year investigation of its men's basketball program. And again, we said this, that there was a story a couple of years ago about assistant coaches making payments. Sean Miller was one of the coaches who was accused at the time. And, of course, he denied everything. Not me. This has never happened. I've never paid a player, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. But another guy back then who also was accused was LSU coach Will Wade, who another one, he's the NCAA enforcement staff. This is according to The Athletic. NCAA enforcement staff also accused LSU coach Will Wade of either arranging for or offering, quote, impermissible payments to at least 11 potential recruits or others around them. I'm sorry. That is according to documents obtained by ESPN a couple months ago. So it's a widespread problem. It's something that we spoke about and has been reported a couple of years ago. And now they've gotten more in depth into the investigations and have found multiple violations. So besides Arizona and LSU, there are other schools, including Kansas, Louisville, who we mentioned before, right, North Carolina State, Oklahoma State, South Carolina, TCU, and USC. So USC is in trouble again because obviously they were part of that whole Lori Loughlin thing with the parents giving payments to get their kids into school. But that's 8 schools, and that's 8 pretty big schools in terms of NCAA sports. So it basically we have to wait and see how it plays out. But it wouldn't surprise me if Sean Miller and Will Wade and several other of these coaches wind up losing their jobs.
Well, someone is. You ever notice, brother, that with the NCAAs, when they do investigations, it's always the men's football team and the men's basketball team. It's never the women's field hockey team or the men's gymnastic team. It's always
funny you say that, brother.
You know,
funny you say that, because in the story, well, no, not funny like that.
Oh.
I got to find it, but there were a couple of teams at Arizona. I want to say it was like a swimming team or something that also was part of this.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
There was, which one was it? The Athletic reported that Arizona women's swimming and diving coach Augie Bush also is charged with a head coach control violation.
Oh,
now,
God.
It didn't elaborate on that, but it just said that's part of the NCAA's investigation.
So my joke actually becomes true.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. It's when comedy becomes fact. Often the best comedy. When you can use facts to make laughs.
That's true.
But
that's true.
So that's where we are here, and I can't even imagine, what kind of issues were going on with the Arizona women's swimming and diving team. That there's a lack of head coach control, but who knows? Read into that whatever you want.
That's very strange. I'm very saddened by this, brother.
So, but yeah, college sports. I mean, I'm college sports it frustrates me because the NCAA is seemingly is just it's their scope. Their scope is just, it puzzles me because yes, there are rules, but they often will look the other way on a lot of these rules. And then what they decide to prosecute, I don't know the rhyme or the reason for it. I just wish that we could already just give college athletes money, allow them to make money off of their talents, and be done with all of this amateurism and this nonsense, because it's a myth. It is a pretend world that college athletes live in, that they can't make money. Like for example, Trevor Lawrence. All right, he's a famous person at this point. He should be able to make money off of his face, his signature. I mean, if he wants to go out and do an autograph signing, he can't do it.
Right.
Why not? He's famous.
Until he's not a member of the NCAA. But
exactly,
yeah, but he's only famous. But Timmy, he's only famous because of the NCAA, and there's certain agreements you make to play there and get a scholarship and go to school and that type of thing. I know what you're talking about. He's famous, and other people are famous too. But if it wasn't for the NCAA, he'd be someone on the street.
It's only because of the system has developed the way it has developed.
It has developed this way. You're right.
Could Trevor Lawrence, if the NFL tomorrow said, we're going to start a developmental football league and we're going to take players out of high school, college football is over tomorrow if that happens.
Yeah.
But the NFL doesn't want to pay for that, because right now they get that for free.
No, you're right. It's a good system for the
issue.
people who run the system. And
of course, most systems are.
Yeah, so that's one of the problems. You're right. If they started, instead of calling it, you call it the minor leagues. Minor leagues, there's no minor league football.
Call it the JNFL, the junior NFL.
Whatever.
And then you have high school kids, seniors in high school, and if they want to go to college, fine, let them go to college. But then you have players coming in. And how many of them would say, you know what, I don't even want to bother going to college because it's going to distract me too much. All the classes I have to go to and staying eligible and all that. I just want to be able to work on my football skills. If you have some kid coming out of high school who's already 6'5" and 300 pounds and he's a big lineman or something, fine, just put him in with this system and let him develop as a football player.
Well, they could do, brother. The NFL can start a minor league, so to speak.
Of course.
But let's say you said, well, I'm 18. I'm going to join this. The way a baseball player would get drafted and go to the Arizona League or something, or the single A or something.
New York Penn League.
Great.
Coney and Brooklyn Cyclones.
But let's say after like a year, they sort of crap out and they want to go to school. Maybe they change the rules where if you've gone professional, you still can go and get a scholarship to play,
it would be easy
college baseball.
As long as you haven't played in a major league, you would still be eligible for that scholarship. That's all you have to do.
That makes sense to me. I mean, at least a player could try and then not get screwed by it. And I think it would be a very good idea, it would screw up the leagues a little bit, but so what?
I mean, you can even have coaches in that developmental league tell a kid, look, you're not good enough. Go to college. Go make something out of your life because this isn't for you. Right. And then maybe in 4 years of college, they become actually good players. Yeah, and maybe in that time they develop or they have a growth spurt, whatever. But, I mean, if you're a kid that age and you're obviously not getting it done at that sort of a level, fine. And then, like I said, go to college, try to make something else of your life and don't commit yourself to something that's not going to work for you. No, I agree. It's a tough situation because you're right. There's no minor league. Well, there's no minor league basketball. Well, there is. The Gatorade League, G League, yeah, the Gatorade League, and then hockey's always had the juniors. So that's part of it too. So yeah, and they also the AHL and the rest of them. What's going on in the Premier League, brother? How's your Tottenham Hotspur going? We'll find out today, brother, because there is a rare Monday. We have the real Monday night football tonight. Well, today, but Tottenham is playing at 4:00. Is it on today. Peacock or is it on? I don't know. I wish I knew, but I don't know right now. I'm assuming it's on NBCSN. I'm praying that it is because I would like to watch the game later. But yes, Tottenham is playing against Burnley today. It is a 4 p.m. kickoff for us. So that means it is a 9 p.m. kickoff in London, which sounds insane. Or unless, you know what? It could be an 8 o'clock. Now that I'm thinking about it, because they change their clocks at different times than we do. So they might have just changed their clocks. So it could be an 8 o'clock start for them. Right. Either way, it's a 4 o'clock start for us. And that is, well, like I said, and there's actually a game before that as well. At 1:30, West Brom is playing in Brighton. So, right. I'm checking NBC's SN schedule right now, brother. Check that, brother. Do that. It is, let's see, there's a Premier League live show, 1 to 125, and then Brighton and Howell. Huh? Brighton and Hove, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's Brighton, Hove, and Albion, brother. We just call them Brighton. Well, it says Brighton and Hove Albion. Right. Versus West Brom. And then it says Premier League Live again, another show, but then it goes into Australian poker. 4 o'clock is Australian poker? Yeah, and then poker after dark. God, I hate NBCSN. What have they done to what used to be one of the best channels on cable television? NBCSN, you're killing me. This whole Peacock thing, oh my God, I hate it. I just they need I don't pay enough programming. Like I don't pay enough for my cable TV package already. Yeah. Now you want me to pay another like $5 a month or whatever it is, maybe $10 a month for Peacock. Screw you, NBC. By the way, Tiki and Tierney on CBS Sports Network, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. So just to let you know. So WHPC alumni. Oh yeah, Brandon Tierney. There he is. My guy, your guy, actually. Yeah, I know. I'll let you have him as your guy. So anyway, brothers, the weekend in the Premier League, Southampton defeated first place Everton. I'm sure you're happy about that, being the Liverpool guy that you are. But I'm a Liverpool guy, not an Everton guy. There's a difference. That's why I said it would make you happy. Yeah, okay. That's the Merseyside derby. That's your hated rival, in case you forgot, brother. Like Islanders, Rangers. Yes, exactly. Everton and Liverpool, they don't like each other. But Southampton handed Everton its first loss of the season. That was 2-0. Everton had a guy thrown out of the game with a red card. As much as I didn't like it when I saw it, it wasn't a red card. It should have been a yellow card, and they should have just said play on. It wasn't an intentional intent to injure, which is what the red card is supposed to be. So anyway, and then Chelsea and Manchester United, two of the quote unquote top 6. Played to a rather lackluster 0-0 draw on Saturday. Pretty much the only thing anybody was talking about after that match was that Manchester United defender Harry Maguire somehow got away with putting a headlock on Chelsea's Cesar Azpilicueta on a corner kick while they were challenging for a header. I don't know how the refs missed this one. There's a picture of it where Maguire, literally has his forearm around the guy's neck. And how is that not a foul? I don't get it. But well, if it's in action, if it's in movement, he's got him in a headlock.
I mean, did he stop?
He's got his other arm around him. He had it like like this, and his other arm was around the other side. It was insane. It was a clear foul. What the hell was the ref looking at?
I have no idea.
Anyway, good news from yesterday. Leicester defeated Arsenal 1-0. Goal by Jamie Vardy. So that was good. We always like to see Arsenal lose. And we'll see today what happens. I'm hoping that Tottenham can get things going again and get Harry Kane back on the score sheet, and Heung-min Son gets a couple goals. We're not sure if Gareth Bale is playing today because he played in the Europa League win on Thursday. So we'll see. I don't know.
He played on Thursday and he can't play on Monday?
Well, he's still kind of getting into game shape. That was his first appearance, for Tottenham, or his first start for Tottenham, I should say. It was the second appearance. So he's already played 2 games in a week. I think they don't want to overtax him as he's still kind of getting into playing shape because he was out for a month with a knee injury. So he's just getting back.
Okay. Well, okay.
And Burnley's not very good, so it's not like he has to play. Over Major League Soccer, your favorite team, brother, NYCFC, had a 3-1 victory over the Montreal Impact on Sunday.
Right.
NYCFC currently in 5th place in the Eastern Conference with 30 points. They will go on the road to face Toronto FC on Wednesday. And the New York
When do the playoffs start?
I don't know. You know what? I'm not even sure. Soon, though. Soon.
I thought, and I guess because this year's been different, but weren't they going to start the playoffs in October and end it by November so they don't go into December? Wasn't
Hopefully.
that part of the deal?
I don't. Well, obviously not because it's October 26th, and
yeah, I know
the playoffs haven't started yet. So I'm not sure what. You know what? I'll investigate that, brother, because I'm not 100% sure on what's going on there. But the Red Bulls wound up coming back for a 2-2 draw against the Chicago Fire. Red Bulls are 7th in the Eastern Conference, a couple spots behind NYCFC. They have 26 points.
Right.
And the Red Bulls will face the New England Revolution on Wednesday's a big day for MLS this week. Pretty much everybody's playing. But that's pretty much it for soccer.
All right, well, that's
good stuff going on.
Well,
I did also want to mention, brother. We kind of skipped over.
We got about a minute and a half until.
All right, I got a minute and a half of content right here. Antonio Brown, brother. You remember him from the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he played all of one game with the New England Patriots. He's back in the league. He's back in the NFL. He has signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so it's a reunion with Tom Brady of sorts.
All right.
One game
of sorts, yeah.
It's considered a reunion. But he has signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be available anytime soon because I know there's some COVID protocol and whatnot. But unless Antonio Brown goes crazy again, which always is a possibility, he should be playing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a matter of a few weeks.
Isn't Gronk, your buddy Gronk, down in
Gronk, America's idiot? Yes, he is a Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
Yeah, so
did you see Gronk was on the Bradshaw Bunch, which is my new favorite show. My new favorite, Rachel Bradshaw. Oh my God,
who was trying to be dumber, him or Bradshaw?
But Gronk was an idiot because Gronk they were at a Marine base and he kept making Army comments, and the Marines kept booing him and basically telling him, "Dude, you're an idiot." But yeah, Gronk far dumber than Terry Bradshaw. Far.
Wow. Well, at least Bradshaw. Yeah, I always thought Bradshaw was smart as a player. I never thought he was smart as a. Anyway. Yeah, that just about does it for From the Press Box. My name is Rob Leonard. Joining me, of course, has been my brother and award-winning sports writer, Tim Leonard. Coming up next at 10 o'clock, Big Ed with The Good Gold Show. So please listen to him and playing his oldies. And we thank Sean Novat for keeping this on the air. See you next time. Bye-bye.